A while back I was helping a fellow boater dock his boat, and when I offered to plug in a shore power cable, this is what I was confronted with. Now clearly this does not look safe and it doesn't look normal. Now as unsafe as that looked, and given the fact that he was docked just a couple of slips over from us in our marina, I refused to use that shore power cable and instead loan him a spare cable that I had until he replaced it. And to make sure that he was never going to use it again or anybody else, I cut the end off and threw the whole thing in the garbage. As you can see, the male side of the plug, the part that actually plugs into the shore power pedestal, was at some point compromised. Now the part that plugged into the boat, the female side that actually plugs into the side of the boat, looks good. So what would cause something like this? Well, there could be a problem at the shore power pedestal, either a loose connection, a faulty connection, a rusty connection, dirt, debris, whatever, something like that would cause resistance. And if there's anything that we learned from Star Trek and the Borg, resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
And resistance can be catastrophic. And as you can see, this thing looks like it really overheated at some point. The first thing that I did was I looked at the power pedestal where this was supposed to be plugged into, and I found no evidence of burning or scoring or rust or anything like that. It looked to be in good condition. So I'm going to guess that this problem occurred at a previous marina, or maybe when the boat was traveling somewhere, there was a faulty power post. And of course, there's an outside chance that the shore power cable wasn't necessarily original to this boat, and this may have occurred, who knows, a different boat at a different place at a different time. Now, another potential source of the problem was something that we experienced ourselves more than 20 years ago on one of our older boats, and that was as a result of simply overloading the circuit. Now, we always push the envelope, trying to get as much of our boating season in as possible every year. So that meant using the boat right from launch time, which was usually the first or second week of April, and running it right through till the middle or end of October. And of course, during the shoulder seasons, it tended to be a little bit colder than one would necessarily want for a boating season. And that meant that we were using a lot of appliances on the boat, including a plug-in heater, as well as the hot water heater would be running more so than it would generally in warm weather conditions. And beyond that, our boats always had all the appliances that one would need on a boat if you use the boat a lot. So if you look at this photo, you can see we have a microwave, coffee maker, there's a toaster running at that same time, and then you can see in the background, there's a television, a plug-in fan, and even a camera battery charger, as well as there would have been the onboard battery charger and whatever else that was running off the AC system. So as soon as I discovered that and learned that, we changed our ways. Now keep in mind, this is going back over 20 years, and we were still in the phase of learning what could and couldn't be done safely on the boat. So what are the lessons that we learned? Was if you are running on a 30 amp circuit or even a dual 30 amp circuit, depending on your boat, you just have to kind of add up how much amperage you're using with all the appliances. And it's easy enough to figure out how much AC load that you're actually using. Just look at the amperage on your gauges on the AC side of your main electrical panel on your boat, and you can see what you're drawing, and try not to put a load on it that's going to run continuously for a long time, like a heater or hot water heater. So what I tended to do during the shoulder seasons, when we're on the boat on the weekend, plugged into shore power, I would turn off the water heater when we weren't going to be using it. I would only put it on a couple times a day and let it run for 15-20 minutes just to heat up the water so we could do dishes or use the shower or whatnot, but not let it run all the time. Because if we had other heavy draw appliances running throughout the day, let's say a coffee maker, toaster, microwave, kettle, stuff that had a heavy continuous draw while those appliances are running, that could start to overload the circuit. So having the hot water heater running in the background wasn't necessarily something that we had to do all the time, and I was just cognizant of it. So again, just have a quick look at your amp gauges at your main electrical panel as you're turning things on. It's as simple as, look at the gauge, turn on your water heater and see how much it jumps up and see how many amps are being drawn, or turn on the kettle or your toaster, whatever, and just see how much incrementally it will jump up, just to make sure that you're not maxing it out all the time. Another thing that's super simple to do is just check your shore power cable ends once in a while. Make sure they're clean, they're not corroded, they're not rusty, there's not dead bugs in there, there's not salt, debris around there if you're in a saltwater environment, and just make sure they're clean looking. If they're not, clean them off, and if they're really bad, replace them. Don't chance it, because fire on a boat is counterproductive and it will make a bad day for anybody. So like I say, just be cognizant of how much shore power that you're running. You don't have to look at them continuously throughout the day, but once in a while, unplug them, pull them out, look at the connections, make sure that they're all in good shape and nothing rusty or nothing dirty. And if you have an issue like that, then you have an issue on the boat that you have to address. So again, if you don't figure it out and come to some sort of solution, it could be catastrophic potentially.